this time in our program, we normally have what's called a community moment. We have somebody from our own community come up and share a story or a book they're reading or a thought that is between 5 to 10 minutes, not over, but certainly can go less. Because I am selfish and resourceful, realized that our main speaker has an assistant who also you might recognize from the podcast Everyone's Agnostic, which is now going on hiatus and has spawned another podcast called Everyone's Autonomous. And I thought, well, I can't rob the dear people of Houston Oasis of this, and it was a good way to kind of get two speakers out of one check. So, yeah, this guy, smart. Anyway, I've talked enough, and we're going to bring up Marie LePage to come up and share a community moment with us called If We Were Autonomous. So join me in welcoming Marie.
What's up, Houston? I'm a little sick today, so I'm trying to touch as few things and people as possible. And that also means that my mind is not 100% right now. So if what I'm about to say doesn't make sense, it's not you, it's me. So that said, thank you for the introduction. I am the host of a podcast called Everyone's Autonomous. We talk with people who have left toxic forms of religion, and we have discussions about how then to reclaim our autonomy in the world in a system that told us what we could and couldn't do before. And now we have all the freedom in the world. Are we ready for that? I am. So I'm super into the word autonomy. It's a word that some people are familiar with. Some don't use it on a daily basis like myself. So autonomy simply means, it's usually referred to like an estate, like a country's autonomous. They get to make decisions for themselves. And it also applies to the body, to the person, to the ego, to whatever this thing is here, this thing. I am autonomous, and that means I have the right to self-govern. It means that, sorry, this is going to happen a lot. It means that I have the right to make decisions around things that pertain to me. Things about my body, things about my relationships, things that I believe, things that I say, people I spend my time with. I have autonomy over all of these things. And so when I, many years ago, left a form of religion that was very toxic and controlling, I was found in a position where I needed to now find a new framework for how now do I look at this world now that I don't have someone to tell me exactly who to touch and who not to touch and where to go and how to spend all my time. It's overwhelming. It's a freedom that you would think would be lovely, but it can be terrifying depending on where you're coming from. So in the last 15 years since I left that particular religion, I have been on a slow, painful journey towards reclaiming my autonomy, towards purging old narratives that the religion put into me and that culture puts into us. So I like using the word autonomy in the sense of what else can we get rid of? What other narratives or tracks in our head can we get rid of? And I see autonomy as the equivalent to nirvana. And I feel like I've reached that. I don't think that was that hard to do. Like, to fully be yourself or to pursue your own authenticity, rejecting narratives that don't serve you, stories that don't serve you, values that you never decided that you believed, that you were told you were supposed to have. The more I can reject those things and create, hold on. Thank you, I'm back. The more you can create your own worldview, the happier I'm finding myself to be. So this is the new framework that I am living within, the framework of autonomy and self-governance. And so that is what my talk is about today. And I'm a little sick, right? So we're going to try to do this. So things that I like to claim autonomy over, things that I like to push, things that I like to challenge, cultural narratives. What is culture telling us about what we're allowed to wear? How we're allowed to present, what gender are we supposed to be? Am I allowed to have short hair like this? Like things like this. I think that we should just do whatever suits us and reject the cultural narratives. And then also, I think a great method that I've used to get closer and closer to what I want to do with my life is to, okay, so who has heard of the term epistemology? And keep your hands up if you've heard of the term street epistemology. Anthony Magnabosco, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. You can put your hands down. I know it's been a long day. So epistemology is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't because I'm up here. But epistemology, from what I understand, is that you question why. Why do you believe what you believe? What sources are you tapping to create your view of something? And so when I seek after my own autonomy and being released from narratives around the world, or cultural narratives, I approach myself as if I'm Anthony Magnabosco. He's this guy that goes out in the street and he's like, hey, what do you believe? And then you tell him and he's like, well, that's interesting. Why? And so he kind of like provokes you to think about why it is that you believe what you believe. It's not judgmental. It's not overbearing. It's just this soft and curious why towards yourself. Why do I think I have to do this? Why do I feel like I have to get a house and a picket fence and a spouse and 2.5 kids? It's just painful having a half child. Why do I want to do that? And so that's just a tool that I wanted to share with you guys today towards getting greater autonomy, getting greater nirvana, which I think is just being okay with yourself, how you're living your life, as long as you're being ethical, of course. And that's a whole other conversation. Please don't hurt other people. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that. Sorry. And so approaching yourself with an epistemological point of view of being curious and gently asking yourself why you believe certain things and is a great tool. An additional tool, which I am just embarrassed to express is true, is mindfulness meditation. I hate it. I hate it. It's so hard to just sit there and watch your brain chatter on and on and on, and you're supposed to just notice it, and it just drives me crazy. But guess what? If you can practice mindfulness and noticing your thoughts and approaching those thoughts with that epistemological point of view of like, hey, thought, how you doing? Why are we feeling like we need to act this certain way around those certain people? And then you have this nice little dialogue with yourself, a kind dialogue, instead of, you suck, why are you just, you know how your head sounds. It's happening right now. I can hear it from here. And so this gentle approach, this mindfulness to your thoughts can bring you closer and closer to who you want to be without being controlled by these almost subconscious like currents. They're like currents in our culture telling us how we're supposed to behave and how we're supposed to present and how we're supposed to speak and who we're supposed to spend our time with and which people are we supposed to. Are you supposed to be here right now? Is there anyone in your life judging you for being at a secular church today? F them. Like, this is a fantastic place to be, and you're doing what is authentic to you. And so that's some of the things that I wanted to talk about, and I did it. And even, Dave, even though I had a cold, so thank you.